Hello, Dr. Brad Hulsebus here, and welcome to another edition of Ask the Chiropractor. Ask the Chiropractor is my little podcast that I do when someone has a question about chiropractic or chiropractic care. I try to answer. I'm a chiropractor here in Rockford, Illinois. I'm a proud graduate of Palmer College of Chiropractic, and I'm happy to be the team chiropractor of the Rockford Ice Hogs. Let's dive into it. Hello, and welcome to another episode. Today I'm going to talk about the WHO, the World Health Organization. I'm sure a lot of you didn't know who the World Health Organization, the WHO, was prior to 2020. But now we've had the COVID pandemic, I'm sure all of you have heard the WHO. So the WHO is basically not just America's research panel, but it's the World Health Organization. So it's representatives from all over the world. And obviously we had COVID and it spread throughout the whole world. These people got to work and we saw some of their successes and maybe some of their failures. But nevertheless, this is the group that we have. So let's talk about them. So they recently, on PubMed, as you guys all know, what PubMed is, the research papers that I follow, most of us physicians follow. In order to get PubMed index, your research has to go through severe scrutiny to make sure it holds up. As a chiropractor, I often visit my medical friends and we often have disagreements on things. But when I pull out PubMed articles, there's no more arguing. So PubMed recently published, this is back in January of 23, Pub 2023, March 23rd, from the Archives of Physical Medicine Rehab, 2023, November. We're looking at the title of the research paper is a systematic review of clinical practice guidelines for persons with nonspecific lower back pain with and without radiculopathy. The identifications of the best evidence for rehabilitative to develop the WHO's package of interventions for rehabilitation. So, what does this mean? The primary author was Fabio Zaina. What's this all about? This is all about the fact that they looked at all the different research for people with nonspecific lower back pain. Hey, I've got chronic lower back pain, I've got lower back issues. And they wanted to try to come up with some of the best ways to look at this, whether it was radicular pain or non-radicular pain. What does radicular pain mean? Is the lower back pain in your back or to travel on your leg also? That's what the radiculopathy means, it's traveling down. And they looked at all different ways people treat this throughout the world. Look at all different successes they've had, failures they've had. And they look at all the data and the research and they collect it all and they go through it all and they review it all. They say, okay, this person had this intervention, this person had this intervention, maybe this person had chiropractic, maybe this person had physical therapy, maybe this person had physical therapy and some medicine, maybe this person had cortisone shots. And what's the overall success rate of all this? Both with radicular pain and without radicular pain. And there's lots of factors that people have with lower back pain, why it comes back and why it continues to haunt people. People that are overweight, people don't exercise. The older you are, because gravity never loses, right? Over time, you get the muscles atrophy and you get weaker and gravity keeps pulling. People who smoke, if you're a smoker, you can expect to have some severe lower back pain that takes a lot longer to get rid of if you ever don't get rid of it. All kinds of different factors that kick in, right? I talk a lot about stability muscles. Can you stand on one foot and keep your balance? That if you can't do that, you can't really have a strong lower back. So look at all different factors of why people get lower back pain and some of the things that can make your lower back pain not go away or basically maybe require a lifetime of work on your lower back pain because your lower back's gone to a point where there's no fixing it, but all we can do is maintain it because you've done too many things in your life not to maintain it. And they found again, over and over again, this continues to get proven every time I need one of these research reviews, the number one thing that helps with lower back pain is motion therapy. Get in there and make those vertebrae move. There's no medicine that does that. There's no shots that do that. But getting in there, spinal manipulative therapy, that's what the research calls a chiropractic adjustment. The chiropractors have been doing this since 1895. We go in there, we make the bones move again, we get you a chiropractic adjustment, and the vertebrae move. It breaks up all the scar tissue around the vertebrae, helps the vertebrae move again, function again, gets rid of the inflammation, gets rid of the swelling. And not only that, but if we can, when you have chronic stress on the vertebrae over time, the stress adds up and it gets tighter and tighter and it gets more and more fixated. The chiropractor's job is to go in there, find that fixation and loosen that fixation. Again, through a chiropractic adjustment. When we loosen that fixation, everything about the joint gets happier, right? The stress in the joint goes away. The chemicals that get from the nerve endings that sensing it's not moving, they stop and they reverse and they go the other direction. The chemicals hit that nerve, wherever that nerve goes, that body part's affected. Chiropractors, we've been knowing this works forever. I know my grandpa knew it worked when he started practice in 1949 because he adjusted people and they got better. My dad started practice in 1975. He adjusted people, they got better, they knew it worked. For me, it's exciting now that we're getting more and more ability to have better diagnostic equipment and prove that what we said about chiropractic always works. But it's even more exciting now that we've accumulated now decades of research and decades of numbers of what's worked and what hasn't worked and what's good for you, what's not good for you. And as you continue to look at this, it just keeps coming back to the same spot. If you've got lower back pain, whether it's radiculopathy or not radiculopathy, you got to go to the chiropractor. That's what it's saying. If you don't go to the chiropractor, you're wasting time and energy. And remember, the longer it stays fixated, the longer it stays not moving, the longer it takes us to correct it. And if you go too long-term correction becomes less and less of a possibility. So if you're working with a medical physician who's prescribing you medications for this and telling you, let's try these medications for a while, that doesn't work, maybe then we'll try chiropractic, that's backwards advice. Because the longer you try that medication, the more chiropractic care it's going to take to get you better. So getting to the chiropractor ASAP is a great idea. Even if you're taking the medications from the doctor, go see the chiropractor anyways. Because again, the medical doctor is not an expert on chiropractic. This is why this podcast exists, Ask a Chiropractor. So if I'm taking these medications, can I still get adjusted? Absolutely. Absolutely. And maybe you'll find out when the chiropractor starts adjusting you, maybe you don't need those medications. I just talked to a patient today who's going into kidney failure because the medications that lower his blood pressure have lowered his blood pressure so much his kidneys no longer have the blood going to him. Now his kidneys are going to failure. So maybe you don't need this toxic medicine into your system. Maybe you just need to have the things adjusted and restored. But your chiropractor can work with you on that educatedly and responsibly. What's the point of today's podcast? Today's point of podcast is to basically pat chiropractic on the back and be like, yes, you are doing the right thing. You should go see a chiropractor if you have lower back pain. If you know somebody who's having lower back pain, whether it goes on their leg or not going on their leg, here is again another research paper, another research article telling you why going to the chiropractor is a smart thing to do and the right thing to do and why it should be the first thing you do sooner than later, because the longer you wait, the more problems you're going to have. And if you're going to a chiropractor already, you're not getting results, try a different chiropractor, a different technique. If I was going to a dentist and I kept having the same cavities, I wouldn't give up on the dentist and say, that's it, I'm not brushing no more. Apparently this can't get fixed. No, I'd find a different dentist and try it again. If you're going to a chiropractor and you're having this persistent thing and it's not getting better and the chiropractor can't tell you why it's not getting better or explain to you, then it's time to go find another chiropractor. Or ask the chiropractor, could I include some physical therapy in this? Because physical therapy is moving too. So the chiropractor can break the fixation. A lot of times a physical therapist or a strength conditioning coach, they can help you rebuild the musculature in that area if it's been there too long. So there you have it. WHO, the World Health Organization, is there definitely, and more words are not recommending chiropractic. They don't come out and say try chiropractic. They try spinal motion, manipulative therapies. They're recommending just to restore that motion in that back. And when they say all those words, every chiropractor is smiling. That's what we do. So if you're having somebody with lower back pain and they haven't tried chiropractic or they have apprehensions about trying chiropractic, I don't know why the apprehension still exists today when all the evidence, all the proof, all the research. We also have the North America Spinal Society also says chiropractic first. There's not even a chiropractor on that board, but they're recommending that first. So, I mean, you just look at all the different organizations, all the research, all the publications out there, try to find one that says you shouldn't try that first. That's what I would tell you to do next. Try to find one that says medicine should be the first course of action. Try to find that for me before you tell me that you don't want to try chiropractic, all right? So if you know someone dealing with this, get them to a chiropractor, explain to them how chiropractic is good. I've done a ton of these literature reviews, research reviews. There's all kinds of papers on there. Go to PubMed, type in lower back pain, type in chiropractic, type all that stuff. Just read the data and the research yourself. Read the science. I think during COVID 2020, it was trust the science. No, they didn't actually read the papers they were telling you, but if you actually trust the science and you look at the research and the data, it'll tell you that chiropractic's the way to go. If you have a question about chiropractic or chiropractic care, always ask a chiropractor. You can leave a message or quote wherever you're seeing this. Leave me a direct message, and I will see it. And maybe next week you'll be the question of the week and ask the chiropractor. I'll put a link to this paper wherever you're listening or seeing this or hearing this. You can go and check the paper out yourself. Read it yourself. Don't take my word for it. I'll share the paper with you. All right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and we'll see you again next week. Bye.